how to prospect. And a new recruits, when you're teaching new recruits, their prospecting is not cold calling in malls. And people do that, but that's not the most effective way to do a business. It's their warm market. So if I was, with IL at TJ, what I want to do is get their list. I'd say your list of your warm market list that we put together here, that's your prospecting list. We're going to prospect that list. We're going to prospect them. And then from that, we're going to close transactions. We're going to recruit some people. We're going to get referrals. The people we recruit, we're going to get their list. So that's going to be, a number of more people. And then we're going to get referrals. So we're going to create a business and for you through the prospecting through your warm market. Because what we want to do, it's much easier to build a business through a person's warm market, assuming that people like and trust them, right? And they have credibility within that warm market. That's the easiest way to build a Primerica needs. I know people have done it in cold calling and all that. That's a way to do it, but it's not. It's a more difficult. You have to go through so many more people, and I don't think most people are open or willing to do that. So it's always better to prospect. Like even if I didn't have anybody to see, if I would recruit people to get to their list. And then I would field train on their list and recruit more people. And that's how I would do. That's how I would do it today. If I was starting over again, that's always about finding people who are credible, have good, all the things I talked about, good people skills, etc., credibility in their market, and use their list to go see more people. Because one thing that happens is not everybody have you noticed not everybody gets licensed and not everybody gets going, right? I mean, it's been pretty clear. So when you prospect a person's list, or if I've got recruit them and I have the list, even if they don't continue, if I have their list, I have say 25 or 30 or 40 or sometimes 50 names, I have 25, 30, 40, 50 people that I could contact, even if they end up not leaving. So one of the things I would tell a new recruit, I'd say, this is your list. And I'd have the list. I said, this is your list that we're going to work off in the prospecting. The one thing I can let you, how big was your list? Do you remember how big list you put together when you started?
I mean, at first, Omar asked us for, we're going to go on 3 training appointments. So the 3 hottest appointments were my best friend, my parents, and another good friend that was a neighbor.
Okay. But did you have more people to see them?
Definitely.
How big the list would you put together? Omar would have asked you for what?
Our wedding list was 400.
Okay, see, there you go. So that a 50 name list would be a piece of cake for you guys. Okay. So I'd say, let's say I have 50 names. And I'd say, look, I am TJ. This list right here, I don't know. It could be worth several $1,000. It could be worth $1 million. It could be worth $10 million. I don't know. I don't know these people, but I'm assuming there's a lot of great people here. And I know that sometimes people get started and then they decide it's not for them or they quit for whatever reason. And I just want to ask your permission if for whatever reason you don't go forward, this list here, we've helped you out already. You got your FNA, you got your program going. You're excited about that. And I know you care about these people and you'd want them to have a similar situation, right? As you guys have.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you end up leaving, I want in advance get your permission so that I can contact those people so they're able to receive the same kind of benefits that you've been able to receive. Does that work for you? You guys okay with that?
Okay.
Okay, great. So I would always ask that because people quit. And if they quit, I've got 50 names. You see? So if you don't get the list, the most important thing with a new person is a list. To me, I don't even care about the IDA. I want the list. Because with the list, if they don't have the IDA, I'm going to make something happen on that, and I'm going to motivate them to get their IDA in because of the list, because we're going to make stuff happen. Does that make sense? So the list to me was everything. If I recruit somebody with no warm market, well, number one, I personally would never recruit anybody that didn't have a warm market because it's a waste of time. I'm not going to go create a market for them. I don't have time to do that. So the list is critical because that list is invaluable. Because what if you find a Omar on that list, or a Rick Susie on that list, or a Chris Howard on that list, right? I mean, that's why I'm saying it could be worth literally millions of dollars. It could be worth several thousand. I don't know, but I know it's worth a lot of money. And so, because a new person, when they come into the business, they don't know anything. The only value a new recruit has is their list, their warm market. They don't have any other value at this point because they don't know anything. They're not licensed. They can't make anything happen. The list is what they bring. That's their, you think the $99 is their payment, but that's nothing. It's not the payment. the list is the payment. I'm going to teach them how to be successful with this list, and then get them licensed, get them productive, and get them having, success. So prospecting is the first thing, because why it's first is because you got to first prospect, right, to set appointments, which is the second thing. The second thing is you got to teach people how to set appointments, because teaching people how to set appointments, without appointments, you can't present, right? So it's prospect first, to set appointments, to do presentations. Once you do the presentations, and in the presentation, you're gonna have to overcome objections and concerns. Like, I want to think about it, I want to make decisions on the first appointment, all those kinds of things. And then from there, you're gonna go to product knowledge, because you have to know how to explain how our insurance product work, how our investments work, how our whether prepaid, legal, whatever the product you're marketing, you have to have product knowledge so that you can effectively, sell the features and benefits and get people involved in the different various products that we have, right? So you've got to know how they work. If you don't know how they work, you can't sell them, right? Not effectively anyways. And then 6, you have to know how to recruit at the kitchen table. Virtually almost everybody I personally I recruited at a kitchen table. Very rare that I didn't recruit people, even at op meetings. I don't know if you guys even have you don't even do op meetings, okay? So, but most people do op meetings around the country. I did for years, but even at op meetings, I never recruited personally people at op meetings, because I did it one-on-one. I always wanted to be face to face with something when I recruited them, uh, so that they can really understand what we're doing and why it makes sense. And then the last part, the 7th thing is getting the recruit off to a fast start and field training them, getting them out and training. So again, it's prospecting, setting appointments, presenting, overcoming objections, product knowledge, recruiting the pitch deal, and then getting them in the field. And then it starts over again, right? So you recruit them, then you get them in the field, and it just goes around and around. It's really that simple. And once you master those 7 things, you get really great at them. And it may take you a little while to do that, but this is something that you need to really work on, because once you have these 7 things down, and assuming you prospect, you're working, you're going to have success. You're going to have a significant amount of success. And then if you teach your people these things, they are as well. And that's really how I built my business. I mean, this was always my focus. And that's why I said I'm not a big motivation guy, because I can talk about my house and park until the sun comes, till the cows come home, but it's not gonna grow my business. What's gonna grow my business is having, Diana and TJ's competent, knowing what they're doing, so they can go get results on their own. So that when they start getting results and start developing confidence, they start feeling like they can do this, and they can quit their job, go full time, and go for RVP, which is what you guys did, right? So we were just talking. How many years ago was that? Yeah.
I'm sorry. We had met in 2006.
Okay.
We flew out West Coast convention. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's really crazy. So we met. Omar, I took Omar to dinner, and he did in LA. We came to a meeting, right? And I spoke at that meeting, and I took him with my son. God, he was 26, 36 now. 37. Anyways, we met back then. You were just telling me that, and now he's an RVP, and I don't know where you're at. Like, where's your cash flow?
That's across 200,000.
200,000. It's awesome, right? And even you were an engineer before.
Civil engineer before, worked with the local school board.
Yeah. And what was your income then?
As an engineer, I was making maybe 65,000 a year gross.
Yeah, nice. So now you're making about 3+ times it, right? Right. On your way to 10 times. Absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. So in prospecting, right? If I was if we're calling, this is how I teach. First, I teach you how to call your friends. So like if you were going to call, let's say you guys are married, and and she wants to recruit you, right? So this is what I would teach Aya to say. So I would have Aya. This is what I'm going to teach you, just for to say to PJ when you call. Just tell him, hey PJ, how you doing? This is Aya. Right? How's life going? I might do a little chit chat. Say, look, the reason I'm calling is I'm starting a new venture, a new business, and I'm just really excited about it. In fact, I'm so excited about it. I'm actually thinking about changing careers and doing this as a career. But before I do that, I want to get some feedback from people that I admire, people that I trust, people that I, want to get their feedback to take a look at it, and then I want them to tell me what they, what they think about it. Would you be open to help me do that? Right. So that's what you do. And then I would have her, we go over it. I have her do it with me and do it until she got this. It's that simple. Not, hey, listen, I want to show you how to make a bunch of money. And no, just I want to get your feedback. I don't want the potential person we're going to recruit here to feel like they're going to be sold something. Or although we're definitely going to attempt to do that. Okay, there's no question about that. But we're going to attempt. But I don't want them feeling that before, because they're going to have preconceived notions and make things up in their mind that we don't need to have right now. Right now, it's just exploratory. Okay, because I know once, for me, always it was just get the appointment. That's all. Once I knew that if I could get in the house and I could sit down with them and I could, meet them and get to know them and I could show them, I knew that if they're live, right, they're qualified, I'm a pretty 80+% chance I'm going to get them involved, at least minimum as a client, possibly as a recruit too. And worst case, I'm going to get referrals. Okay, so, but the thing is to get the appointment. That's what you need. I was fanatical about being on appointments. And that's what I focused on, because my skill set was good enough that I knew if I could get on them, I was going to get great results. So that's all I focused on, is getting on appointments, getting my teammates on appointments. Because without an appointment, you can't do a presentation, and without a presentation, you can't close them on the business or close them as clients. So you have to get the appointments first, and the prospecting is how you do this. So that's what I would teach her, how to get the appointment. Now, also, there's another way to prospect when you're out and about, right? I mean, I was always prospecting everywhere I went. Let's say that we have kids are around the same age and they're playing soccer or baseball, or it doesn't matter what it is, and we're at the ball game and we're sitting next to each other in the stands, and our kids are playing whatever the sport happens to be. And I'm sitting there and I would introduce myself. Hi, how you doing? My name's Hector LaMarque. I'm Aya, right? And
Hector, I'm PJ.
hi, PJ. Nice to meet you. My son's Dak. He's the one over there.
What number is he?
Yeah, that's right. He's the one pitching. Oh, yeah. He was a pitcher, so he's pitching. So, and which one's your son?
Yeah, mine's center field right there.
Oh, okay, great. And what's his name?
AJ.
AJ. Okay. And let me ask a question. Is that the only child you have? Do you have more than one?
Yeah, we have a girl too.
Yeah, and how old is she?
She's 14.
14. So I'm curious, when you bought your home, is it because of the school system in the area?
No, actually, we bought our home from my parents. They were selling the same area.
Oh, wow.
Has a lot of memories, so I wanted to reach
great. Fantastic. Well, that's nice. That's special, actually. So why do I ask that question? I ask that question because I want to know if they own a home. But I don't want to say, do you own a home? No, I don't want to do that, right? I want to ask, so when you buy your house, I know they have 2 kids. I know they're married. I want to know if they have a home. They own a home. So when you bought your house, why, is it the school system? And she goes, no, because my parents, oh, that's awesome. That's special. All right. So now I know, are they qualified? Yeah. Are you fortunate enough to work close to home? Do you guys both work close to home?
I actually work about an hour away from home.
Oh, that's a tough drive, huh? How do you feel about that?
Not good.
How about you?
About a half hour.
Okay. So they both work, so I know they're doing well, right? And what do you guys do?
I'm a network engineer for finance.
Oh, wow. So IT thing, an IT
Yep.
position? Yep. And
I'm a civil engineer. I work for the private school system. I
guys
build schools for them.
you're some sharp people. Wow. Amazing. Do you guys see yourselves doing that for the rest of your life? Is that what you resign yourself to doing? Is working?
Honestly, I never even thought about it. I just, it's kind of like what my dad did, and go to school, you get a job, and hopefully retire one day.
So let me ask you a question. I'm in the process of building a business here and looking for sharp people. If there are a way that you could earn considerably more than you're currently earning and be your own boss and call your own shots and do your own thing and you control 100% of your life, or either you open yourself up and that is something you feel exploring?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Well, it's good. Well, so why don't we exchange, phones and emails, and I'll send you some information, and maybe we can get together and talk about it. Right now's not the right
Sounds
time.
great.
That's how I would do it. That's the way I would, if I was meeting somebody, I would do it like that. Not, I would, does that seem pushy to you? No, it's not pushy. What am I doing? I'm just asking questions, aren't I? Right? That's all. Just asking questions. I'm getting information. The main thing I want to know, are they qualified? They're like mega qualified, right? 2 kids, homeowners, great. They're professionals. I mean, they got everything going on for me. I know that if I could get them involved in the business, there's no doubt that they would be successful. There's no doubt about it in my mind. If they would actually just do what I am teaching. All right. So that's a qualification. That's part of prospect. And those are the two ways of prospect. I mean, I don't have time to go into every single detail, but I just want to get you the idea of how you start to do this, right? Okay. And then the setting appointments. I did the one appointment. Teaching them how to set appointments is critical. You have a way of teaching people how to set appointments, right? That's something when I'd be teaching them, I would role play that with them. If I was doing with I have a PJ, I would be role playing that until they did it comfortably, naturally, where it wasn't like stilted. Let's go back there just one more time. Make sure you say this time or whatever. I would go back and forth until they got it down. Until I would set an appointment. That's the way I would look at it. Well, that's perfect. That's awesome. You're going to do great. So that's all you need to do. And then if you're calling, another way of setting an appointment is this is a referral, right? It's a common thing. If you got a referral, you would do it a little. And if you're calling a friend, if I'm calling a friend, I'm going to just be really direct and clear, more clear like that. But if I'm calling PJ as a referral, let's say that you gave me his number, I'm calling PJ as a referral. I would call up PJ and I'd say, "Hey PJ, hello, is this PJ?
It is.
Hey PJ, my name's Hector LaMarque. We have a mutual friend in Aya. Aya, your friend Aya?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, I was recently meeting with her, and I was able to help her get into a program that she was really excited about. And I asked her, who do you care about most that might be interested in getting themselves in a position where they're completely debt free and are able to save considerable amounts of money, more than they were, and be able to retire, maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years sooner. And you were one of the first names she brought up. Is that true? Are you one of those persons that would be interested?
Awesome. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
well, great. All right. Well, what I like to do is I like to, set up a time that we can sit down and meet, and explore it and see if it makes sense for you or not. And normally I do appointments at 6 and 8 o'clock in the evening. Is one of those times better than the other for you?
Yeah, like 8 o'clock would be better.
So this week I've got Monday or Wednesday open at 8 o'clock. Which one of those days do you think?
Wednesday works good.
Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Okay, great. And then I'd say, make sure I know he's married, Kurt. I say, make sure your spouse, your spice is I, right? And make sure she's there. And this is going to be really great information. And I know that when you see it, you're going to be really excited because I know I was really excited and it's made a huge difference in her outlook in the future. And I know it's going to be the same for you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. She spoke so highly of you.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
That's how I would set the appointment, just like that. Again, pushy?
Nope.
No pushy. No. Just natural, talking, no big deal. Okay. And then now on the presentation part, I'm not going to do a presentation, but the main thing with the presentation, when you're doing a presentation, if I'm sitting down, I'm going through our credibility. Our company's been in business for 35, is it like 35 years? Oh gosh. Yeah. 39 years, we're on the New York Stock Exchange, all that stuff. And, our company is just exploding right now. We're helped so many people get, millions and millions of people, in help over the years. And it's very exciting. And then I'll go through that. And then the main thing I want to do on an appointment, once I go through the credibility is the easy part. I want to make sure they completely and totally understand what we do for people. Okay. So the thing that I always accentuated, right? I would accentuate, especially today. I like to talk about getting debt free. And I'll tell you why I like to talk about that. Because everybody wants to get debt free. I don't know anybody that doesn't want to get debt free. Do you know anybody that doesn't want to get debt free? No, I want to be in debt. I want to be really stressed and worried about my house and car payments. No, everybody wants to be debt free. So the reason I talk about that on the debt free part is because that's one of the things we can do, and it doesn't really cost anything. It's a really simple thing. And nobody has a plan to get debt free. Everybody has, knows they want things, but very few people have a plan to get debt free. So I would talk about. I said one of the things that we do for our clients is we put together a strategy for them to get completely debt free, and that strategy. And I would show them. You could show them how that works, right? And the stacking and all. I said, this is what we do for people. We sit down, we show them, we take a look at their debt situation, and then we orchestrate a plan to get them completely debt free. And what I mean by debt free, I mean at some point in the future where they pay their home off, they pay their cars off, they're completely debt free, where they don't have any liabilities or any outstanding. And what that does, like for example, if we were to able to do that for you, help you forward on trying to get you debt free, how much extra money a month do you think you guys might have?
Oh wow, between
If you
mortgage,
had no
credit
mortgage,
cards,
no credit cards, no car payment.
$3,000.
Yeah. Wow. How would that feel? Yeah. You'd like that though. So if I could formulate and put together a plan that would allow you to get to that place in much faster, faster than you normally are plan on pays you now, I'm assuming that would be something you would absolutely want to take advantage of. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you see, I'm getting a commitment, right? So I got a commitment right here. You're getting everybody wants to be debt free. So then now with that $3,000 that we freed up, so assuming you have the extra $3,000 a month, you can do a lot of things with that. You can start saving and investing, right? Let's say you took half of it, $1,500 a month, and you started investing. Well, that's going to allow you to do. It's going to allow you probably already got some sort of saving from your companies right now, I would imagine, right?
We have a little 401k at work.
A little bit of savings. This would accelerate that and allow you to get to a position so that you could retire much sooner if you chose to. I mean, not everybody wants to retire, but if you did, you would be in a position to do that. Or maybe if you didn't want to continue along your career path, you could change careers if you wanted. You would be able to do that, not be stressed out about it. So that would be the other thing. The other thing is with the other extra money, you could travel. You could put your kids in private school if they're not in private school already. You could do a lot of different things. You could, eat out more. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do, right? Maybe you could hire a housekeeper if you don't have one already. Would that be good? I mean, so I would be painting a picture of what I want them to start feeling what's going to happen before it happens. You with me? I want to put them in that position before that's what I want. I want them to experience in their mind what's going to happen because that's going to move them to want to take action, right? Because that's what we want. We want people to take action. Okay. It's kind of like when I bought art in the past, several times this happened to me where I would buy a piece of art or I would be thinking about buying it, say, I really like this piece. And one of the things really good salespeople in the art business do, they said, you know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we go hang it in your place? And if you like it, you like the way it feels, you can buy it. If not, we'll come back and pick it up. But you know what? Once you got it in your house and it looks great, you own it, right? It's a brilliant way to do that. So what it is they're getting you to feel what it feels like living with it and enjoying it before you actually pay for it, which is really smart. Okay. And that's what I want to do when I'm presenting to somebody. I want them to be in that place, experience all the features and benefits of the FNA and what it does before they have it. Okay, because if they do, they're going to be more apt to go forward. And you notice I got a commitment. If I was to put together a plan like that allowed you to get all your debt paid off, can you think of any reason why you wouldn't want to take advantage of that and implement that plan? I asked that question specifically because I want a commitment. Yes, of course I would do that. As soon as they say yes, what I want is as many yeses as I can possibly get during the presentation. Because yes, yes, yes leads to yes. Okay. All right. So, and then of course talk about the insurance part. I would use the example. I don't know what kind of insurance you guys have. Do you know what you have? Do you currently have life insurance?
Group at work.
Group at work?
Yes.
It's group, right? Yeah. You realize if you have group insurance, it's typically you can't take it with you if you leave, right? Did you know that?
I didn't know too much about life
You just know
insurance.
that you got it. You needed it, bought it, right? There's some I mean, that's not bad, but if you leave the job, and many times you can't take that with you, and then you're older in different situations, and then who knows if you're, you're going to qualify for insurance after that. So it can be okay, but in a lot of cases it could be kind of dangerous to have a group plan, because I don't know, if you don't stay where you're at, and most people don't stay in their jobs for their whole entire lives, so you might want to think about that. So um, let me just show you how our product works and typically what we do. And then I would go through, this is the person that had, $50,000 over on, like, this is my situation. I had $50,000 of whole life to York life when I got started in the business. I think I was 22 when I bought that policy. And it was $50 a month for 50,000, right? At 22 years of age, that's complete ripoff, right? So that's what I had. And so what they were able to do for me, and I might just share the story. What they were able to do for me, I was able, through our company, Primerica, was able to buy 250,000 on me, and 50,000 on my wife for $40. Wow. So that was, 6 times the coverage for 2/3 of cost. Well, not quite 2/3, but for almost the same, a little bit less than I was paying. And then I was, with that plan I had before, I was going to have like $26,000 in my account, my cash value account, when I reached 65, which, at 65, that would be worth about $26, right? Inflation. So they were able to do that for me, and then they helped me invest in a couple of IRAs and mutual funds, and the difference was so dramatic. I was like, oh my god, everybody should. This is incredible. And so that's what I did. So what we could do is we could take a look at your situation and see how that fares up, and then we could go from there. All right. And then, so I would question.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I would just explain how that works. And or aren't you guys use a before and after thing? Okay. Yeah. So you show the before and the after. So if you were in a situation like this, you had a situation like this before and then after. I mean, is there any way that you would not change? No, you would. Okay. Okay, great. And so that's what I would do. Then I would, after I go through that, you can talk about some of the other things you have, you know what they are, and all the different products we have, the services we offer. But the bottom line is getting them to do the F&A. Once I do the F&A and I get a commitment, once the F&A is done, I get a commitment, then the recruiting happens. Okay, then that's when I'm going to start talking about the recruiting. So when you're talking about the products, right? Because the product knowledge is overcoming objections. So some of the objections that come up are what? Like, what do you guys hear most often?
It's cheaper through work
Through
than
work.
what you're offering me.
Yep. And like I said, how much cheaper is it?
The company covers my
Oh,
salary,
so and then they pay for part of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You can't beat that. That's good. That's a good situation. But if it's not, is it the appropriate amount of coverage? That's what we've got to figure out. Is it the appropriate amount, or you have enough? Do you know if you do or not?
No, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, so through the FA, we're going to find out. So maybe we need to add some and increase it. All right.
Could be. And maybe, I don't know if we can afford it, Hector.
You can afford what?
I don't know if we could afford the life insurance.
Well, of course, you're going to definitely you're going to be able to afford it, because we're going to reduce your overhead. We're going to help you reduce your debt. You're going to be no problem. That's going to happen. And even if you're not able to do it immediately, get started with reducing your debt, and we'll get you to the place where you can afford it. There's no question why in your situation, I know that's going to be possible. Okay. What we got to do is we do the F&A. Once the F&A is completed, we'll come back. We'll show you how it works. Get everything implemented, and then we'll talk about the business. So what I would normally do, okay, I probably wouldn't try to recruit him right that night. I mean, I would talk about that. It depends on, every situation is a little different, okay? Because my experience, it's much easier to recruit somebody that becomes a client first than it is to recruit somebody just to recruit them. Because if they've made the leap, if they've trusted you enough to part with their money, and they believe enough in what you're doing to own what you're presenting, then the leap to becoming an agent is much shorter. You know what I mean? It's not a big leap. So if I'm just talking to them about the business and they don't know really what we do, or they don't really understand it, and they join just because they want to make money, to me, it's not the best way. to me, it's always better to make them up. I always try to make people clients first, then I recruited them. And the reason is just for that reason. They're going to be it's much easier to do that if they believe enough in it that they own it. So let's assume that we do business for them. Then I come back and we do this. And I said, okay, they love the program. You love what we've done for them. They're excited about that. And then I say, look, I know you guys have pretty decent jobs and all that right now, but if there's a way that you could increase your income, like $2, 3, 4, $5,000 a month, and that would allow you to pay off your debt much more quickly. It would allow you to start saving more money so you could retire sooner. It would allow you to have a spare tire, if you will. You know, like you have a spare tire in your car. Yeah. And why do you have a spare tire in your car?
Because you're gonna flat.
In case you get a flat. So same thing. You never know what's going to happen in a company, or if the company's going to change, get sold, they're going to lay people off. I mean, that's happening all over the place right now, all over the country. So you don't know that. So it's always great to have a spare tire, right? So the job, starting your own business on a part-time basis, kind of be like having a spare tire in case something happened. Worst case situation, you make extra money, you can get out of debt sooner, you can start putting yourself in a much more solid financial situation. And if it ended up being something great for you, it could possibly be a career. And let me show you what the potential is. And then I would go through the business, how that works. This is how you get promoted. This is the compensation. This is what you earn if you're a district leader or a regional leader or an RVP. If you develop RVPs, this is a potential income. So like, there's no question, a couple like you guys, you don't realize this because you don't really know how our business works, but a couple like you, married, children, professionals, great job, live in a great area. I know you guys, you said you had 400 people at your wedding. I mean, you know tons of people. There was absolutely no way that you guys would be successful if you decided to get involved with your pedigree. None. It would be, you guys are, I mean, yes, you heard of slam dunk, right? You're a slam dunk as slam dunk gets, in my opinion. I know that if you would let me teach you, that you would be unbelievably successful. You would have a lot of success. And I know that you could replace your income. And I think you could double or triple or quadruple your income if you chose to. I totally know I could help you do that. Would you be open to doing that?
I hope you'll be back. Absolutely.
Okay. And then, so if that's the case, then for me, I'm right into I'm going to fill out the IBA. I'm going to get that going, and I'm going to work on their list. So this is what we're going to do first. And I would get the list before I got the IBA, by the way. I'm going to always get the list first. IBA, I'm not worried about the IBA. It's $99. It's a piece of cake. There's nothing to it, right? For them, you can put it on a credit card, right? It's not a big deal. So I'm not going to be worried about that. I want to get your list. How I would get the list, how I got the list, I'd say, okay, why don't you get your, everybody has all their stuff on their phone now, right? Everything's on their phone. I said, well, why don't you get your phone out? Before I used to say, get your address. That doesn't work. Nobody has an address. So I get your phone now. And I want you to just think of people that you really care about, that you would want them to know this information and have a plan to get out of debt and get money to independent people that you care about. So why don't we do this? I'm just going to start with some names, people that you're closest to and that you care about the most.
My mom and dad.
Your mom and dad. Okay, mom and dad.
My sisters.
Your sister. Okay, what are their names?
Annette, Raquel.
Annette, Raquel. Yeah. Well,
Best friend Enrique, my brother, my sister.
Anybody else you work with?
Yeah, I have a lot of cousins.
You have a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
So then I would just step by step, I would just get them. I don't want all the information. I just want the names right now. I don't need a phone number. I don't need an address. I just want their names. Because I'm going to get them. It's easier to just get the names and then go back and get the phone numbers and the addresses. Okay. So I would just get all the names. And then I'd say, okay, let's sit down, let's get their phone numbers and stuff. We'll put the list together. And then that list. And then from the list, that's what I'm going to say. Look, this list is amazing. I knew you guys were going to be awesome, but after this list, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you about how great you're going to be. And I would say it just like that. You see what I did there? Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't believe how great you're going to be. Right? Because what I want them feeling and believing they can do it. Everything about what I'm doing is to get people to believe they can do it. The only way you recruit people is they have some level of belief that they can do it. Nobody's going to join your business unless they have a semblance of belief that they can do it. So everything I'm going to do is point towards why they would be great. Point all the attributes they have. You know, their marketing. You know, they're professionals. They're the great looking couple. They're everything. Right. I'm going to point all that stuff out. I'm going to make sure I don't just think it. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to get that list. And then this list, I'm going to say, look, this list, man. I'm telling you, this list is worth a lot of money to you guys over time. I mean, really a lot. You know, I don't know, it could be 20,000, 50,000, $1 million, 2 million, 5 million. I don't know. It could be a lot. All right. And so just depending on, where they are, but I know it's super valuable. And, I'm going to help you build something really great. I think once we get started, you're going to be really excited about what you see down there. Okay, awesome. All right, so I get all the list, and that's now we're done with the list. Okay, I've gotten you created. Now it's just about saying the appointments that we talked about, um, the overcoming objections. Like the most common objections that come up is, I want to think about it. Uh, I don't have time. Like I'll show the time one. This is why that overcoming objections audio that I have has all this stuff on it. So if somebody tells me I don't have time, this is what I said. Okay, let's kind of just think about this. How many hours a week do you work?
About 60 to 80.
Ooh, you do work a lot. Yeah, you too.
About 40 to 50.
Okay, so you have more time than I. So maybe I doesn't have a lot of time because you have 2 kids and a lot of obligations. So if I could take PJ out and show him how to do this and help him make, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000 extra a month, you'd be okay with that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right. So then I say, so you definitely, she legitimately has a time issue, right? But you're working 40 to 50 hours a week, you have time. So what time do you typically get home from work?
Construction, I'm usually there at 6 and I'm home by 4.
Oh, okay. So you're home early. All right. That's awesome. So you won't have any problem at all because you have, most appointments we're going to do are going to be like 6 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock. Typically I do appointments at 6 and 8. That's typically when people want to meet. So time is not an issue. But if it was a time, like if he said, well, I don't know if I have time. I'll say, well, look, you work 40, 50 hours a week. You get home at 4 o'clock. So from 4 to 9 o'clock, right? So that's when we see people. That's 5 hours. That's 5 days a week. That's 25 hours. And then you work Saturday and Sunday?
Nope.
Okay, so then you got an all day Saturday and Sunday. So let's say another 8 hours on each of those 2 days. So that's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So time's really not an issue, is it?
No, not on.
Because when people say I don't have time, what they're really saying is I don't think it's worth the time I might invest. That's what they're really saying. It's very rarely 80 hours a week that I can buy with 2 kids. That's buy. I buy that. Not 40, 50 hours. No way. So what really happens, that's why the presentation and how you do that's so important, because when people say I don't have time, it's not really the time issue. It's that I don't feel like if I invest time, I'm going to get the payoff that I think I should get. That's what they're really saying. So that's really more of a presentation problem, how you did present the business or the opportunity and how it works. And they don't understand, they don't see the value in going forward. That's why going through the compensation and all that is really clear. I think one thing that all of you need to do, if you haven't done this, I know Omar has this down, but you need to know the comp, like backwards, forwards, sideways, every which way. You really need to understand all the bonuses, how they work, everything. Because if you can't explain how the compensation works, and you have a sharp couple like this, you're not going to recruit them. They have to see that. Oh my God, I have the potential to do that. Because even if you're not making a lot of money, if you're part of Omar's team, right, you can talk about Omar, or you can talk about PJ and Ida here. There's you guys have a lot of people doing well, right? Okay, it's not like one or two; it's a bunch. I mean, I know my hierarchy. I've got like 10 or 11 people that make over $1 million a year, and a bunch more that make, I don't know how many make over between 100 and $1 million, a lot. Okay, so there's a lot of people to point to, and then if you use, I would always have, that the President's Council or the book. What's the book called?
Financial.
This I was involved in. Now, that book, I would use that book. I'd always have it because and if I was trying to recruit them, I would go through the book and I would like take one of those, how you can, what do you call that? Put a little sticky, so yeah, tab on everybody who's an engineer, who is in the IT business. And I'd say, hey, look, by the way, let me show you some people that do what you guys do, what they're doing. And you show them. That's what I would do. People just like you, people that have your background. I would have that book. Before I was on the appointment, if I'm training Omar, I would make sure that he told me as much as he could about them and what kind of job they're in, what they're doing, so that I know what to talk about when I get on that appointment. And I would have that book, like I said, and I would go through it and highlight all the people that were, you know, like like them, so that they could see that they could do it. Again, getting back to getting them to believe they can do it is the most important thing. It's always belief. Oh, always believe. People will only ever attempt something they think they have an opportunity to succeed at. They won't attempt. If they think they can't do it, they won't even try. So you've got to present in a way that gets them believing it's possible. It's like, even if after I did the presentation and they're like pretty impressed by it, I'd say, now, can you see that virtually everybody in the country needs a plan like this and needs to do something like this?
Yes,
I see that, right? Okay. So that means our market is it's just humongous. It's gigantic. I mean, it's so big, it's incredible. And people need this. And so once you get good at it, you know what you're doing, which I'm going to teach you how to do, right? The market's basically limitless. It really is. It's really big. Like I talked about earlier about how big we only have, like, but 2% of the market in Oregon. I don't even think it's that much, right? I think it's less than that. Okay, in the country, it's absolutely nothing. In product knowledge, you've got to know. You got to know the products, guys. You got to know how they work. You need to study. It takes work. It's probably a little boring, but when you tie the work and the preparation to you accomplishing your goals and you getting financial independence, when you tie them together, then it makes it not work anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when you this work that you need to do, that you're going to have to do, if you tie it to you getting everything you want in life, then it's not work anymore. I never looked at this as work to me. This is my ticket to where I wanted to go in my life and what I want to accomplish. And it turned out to be that. So you need to know the product. You need to know how our life products work. You need to know you guys do a lot of securities. You got to be, there's big, yeah, there's big, every product. So you need to know how they work. You need to train people on how they work so that people are confident presenting them. And there's big money. I mean, there's big money in securities. There's big money in obviously the life business, but there's bigger money in developing people. That's where all the real big money's at. Okay, like I had, we were saying, I haven't seen a client since 1992, but since that time, I've made a lot of money. Okay, and it's all from developing people. Right, this is 100% from that focus. Uh, some of the other objections. What are some of the other objections that come up that you guys are?
Well, Hector, I'm an engineer. I mean, I don't know anything about finance or insurance or anything like that. I mean, I do need the extra money. I'm thinking of, Aya's pregnant here, so I wanted her to stay home, and I started doing some home inspections.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I could do stuff in my field, but
Yeah, but you're not sure if you could do this.
no.
Okay, so when you went to college and you started working on being an engineer, will that take like a week? No.
I was on the 5-year, 4-year
Okay, so
program.
it took you 5 years, 5 years to learn enough that you could actually get a job and do that job,
That's
as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you can learn that, by the way, I know that you got to learn as an engineer. It's way more complicated than this. I guarantee you. Okay. So if you could learn that, you could learn anything. It's just a matter of applying yourself, just like you did when you were learning to be an engineer or an IT specialist. I mean, nobody's born being an IT specialist or an engineer. You learn how to do that, and you can learn this too. The difference in learning this versus learning that. Like you said, you're at $60,000 a year. You guys are making decent money. That's nothing to sneeze at. But in learning this, if you do it well and you do what I teach you, and you do it like I've done it, you're going to make 10 times or more what you're currently making. Do you feel like it would be worth it to invest your time and energy if you felt you got the potential to make 10 times what you're currently making?
Yes.
Okay. So really, it's not a matter of whether you can do it. And you can definitely do it. It's just a matter of deciding, I'd like to improve my situation financially and have a better life. Not that you have a bad life, but if your income was 10 times what it is, it'd be a bit better. Would you agree? And you'd be okay with that. I think yeah.
No, $8
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So, and that's another thing I would talk about. Are you okay with working 80 hours a week? If there was a way that you could work a lot less, or maybe not even work at all, would that be something that you'd be open to?
Yeah, being a full-time mom would be a dream.
We're gonna get her out. That's gonna happen. All right. Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, yeah. There you go. See, birds of a feather. Okay. Yeah. So that's great. I mean, but people when they say I'm not a salesperson. Nobody's born a salesperson. Like I said that earlier. Right? Boom, salesperson, or engineer, or IT. No, it doesn't work like that. All of it's learned. Like everything that I'm done today and everything that all this stuff that I know how to do, I learned how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. When I graduated from college, I had a degree in psychology. I was going to be a clinical psychologist. I didn't know anything at all about money. I didn't have any money. So I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know about finance. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't know anything about anything. I learned all of it. When I got into the sales business, I got in the retail jewelry business right out of college, right? Because I needed a job, and I figured out to make any money, decent money, as a psychologist, I would have to have a PhD, which would mean another 4 or 5 years of study and all that. And I had 2 little kids. It's like, no way, that didn't happen to me. I can't do that. So I got a job in sales and selling jewelry. In fact, it was so bad. I never even owned a tie or knew how to tie a tie. I was a athlete. I played basketball. I played tennis. I was in shorts and t-shirts all the time, right? So I didn't even own a coat or suit or a tie. And so we were broke back then. And my first job in sales, I got my wife had a J.C. Penney's card. We had no money, so we went to the store, J.C. Penney's, and I bought some dress shirts and I bought some clip-on ties. Because I didn't know how to tie a tie. So I said, shoot, I don't know how to tie a tie. So I bought like 2 or 3 clip-on ties and some dress shirts and some slacks, right? And a pair of nice, decent shoes that I could wear because I didn't have any of that. And so, I didn't know how to sell. I had no idea how to sell anything. I never sold anything in my life. And plus, I'm an introvert on top of that, right? So what I did, I've always been a really voracious reader. I went to the bookstore and I bought 5 books on sales. Joe Girard's book on selling cars. They're all in like How I Raised Myself with Fame and Success by Ben. I read like 5 different books on sales, and then I read all of them like in a week. And then I started my job, and I was so naive. I just applied all of the techniques and principles in the book, and I took off like crazy. I started selling like crazy. And then I saw this other store that was really busy, and I went and got a job at this store. And in fact, I went back like 3 or 4 times, and they wouldn't hire me. I said, look, just hire me. If I don't work out during the Christmas season, you can let me go. You can fire me. Just fire me. I promise you, I'm going to do a bridge. I closed them on firing me, and then I got stuck with a much busier company. And then what happened from there? I did such a great job because I learned how to sell, right? And I was listening to Hopkins and all that back then. And then from there, 5 months later, they made me a manager of the store. I started at $900 a month, and five months later, I was making $3,000